Have you ever met someone who would drop everything to help another person, but secretly believes they don't deserve that same kindness themselves? Here's the strange part. Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet are fighting the cruelest person they've ever known, the voice inside their own head. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the one who always checks if everyone got home safely, the one who remembers birthdays, replies to late-night messages, and says, "Don't worry, I'm here for you." But when you make one tiny mistake, you replay it for days. You forgive everyone else instantly, but you never forgive yourself. Why? The answer isn't what most people think. People assume self-hatred looks loud. They imagine someone who's angry, bitter, or constantly complaining. But real self-hatred is usually quiet. It hides behind smiles, behind good grades, behind successful careers, behind the person everyone describes as so kind. Because kindness and self-love are not the same thing. In fact, sometimes they're complete opposites. Think about it. Have you ever complimented someone without believing a single compliment people gave you? You tell your friend, "You're amazing." Someone tells you the exact same thing, and your brain immediately says, "They're just being nice." Same words, different judge. Here's something fascinating. Many people who hate themselves become experts at understanding everyone else's pain. Why? Because they're constantly scanning emotions. As kids, maybe they learned that keeping other people happy made life safer. Maybe love felt conditional. Maybe praise only came when they achieved something. Or maybe they simply grew up believing they had to earn their place. So they became emotional detectives. They notice the sigh no one else hears, the fake smile, the tired eyes. They can tell something is wrong before anyone says a word. It's almost like a superpower. But every superpower has a price. Because while they're busy reading everyone else's emotions, nobody is reading theirs. Sometimes not even themselves. And here's where it gets even stranger. People who secretly dislike themselves often become people pleasers. Not because they're weak, because helping others gives them something they can't give themselves, temporary proof that they're worth something. Every thank you becomes emotional fuel. Every favor feels like evidence. Maybe now I'm enough. But the feeling never lasts. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much appreciation pours in, it leaks right back out. So they help again, and again, and again. Not because they always want to, but because stopping feels terrifying. Because if they're not useful, who are they? Here's a question. Have you noticed how some people apologize for absolutely everything? Sorry I'm late. Sorry I asked. Sorry I exist. Okay, maybe not the last one out loud, but inside, sometimes yes. They carry guilt that doesn't even belong to them. If someone else is upset, they assume they caused it. If someone becomes distant, they immediately search for what they did wrong. Meanwhile, the real reason might have nothing to do with them. It's exhausting. Imagine carrying an invisible backpack. Every awkward conversation, every misunderstanding, every disappointment. You throw another brick inside. Eventually, you forget what it feels like to walk without the weight. Now here's the twist most people never notice. These people often struggle to accept kindness. Buy them a gift, they'll say, "You shouldn't have." Compliment them, they'll argue with you. Do something nice, now they feel like they owe you. Receiving love feels uncomfortable. Giving it feels normal. Why? Because deep down, they believe love is something they have to earn, not something they simply deserve. And beliefs like that don't appear overnight. They're built slowly. One criticism here, one disappointment there, one comparison after another. Until eventually the brain creates a rule. I'm only valuable when I'm useful. The scary part? After enough years, you stop questioning the rule. You think it's reality. But here's something your brain rarely tells you. The voice in your head is not always telling the truth. Think about your closest friend. Imagine they made the exact same mistake you made last week. Would you call them a failure? Would you tell them they're impossible to love? Would you replay that mistake every night before they fell asleep? Probably not. So why does your brain think those rules only apply to you? Because self-hatred isn't logic, it's habit. A habit repeated so many times it starts sounding like truth. But habits can change. Not overnight, not because someone says, just love yourself. If it were that easy, this video wouldn't exist. It changes in smaller ways. When you notice your inner voice instead of automatically believing it. When you allow yourself to rest without earning it first. When you stop measuring your value by how useful you've been today. When helping others becomes a choice, not proof that you deserve to exist. And maybe the biggest shift of all? Realizing that the kindness you've spent your entire life giving away was never meant to stop at everyone else. It was supposed to reach you, too. Here's something worth remembering. The people who care deeply about others often think they're difficult to love. But that's only because they've spent years looking at themselves through a cracked mirror. The reflection was never accurate. The mirror was. One day, someone might thank you for being the reason they got through a difficult time. They'll remember your patience, your compassion, your warmth. The question is, when that day comes, will you finally believe you're worthy of receiving the very same kindness you've been giving to everyone else all along? Because the person you've been trying hardest to save may have been you from the very beginning.